And we are live back again for what? The sixth, seventh time in a week. We weren't going to do a show today.
6, 7.
6, 7. We weren't going to do a show today. I was talking to Willie at 7 a.m. He got a great night's sleep, and he said, you know what?
A great
At,
night.
at larges come out today, and then brackets tomorrow, and then we'll preview it all Thursday. And I said, great. I'm going to get some real work done for my company. And Willie texted me a half hour later and said, well, should we do a show
Well,
today?
well, I was talking on the phone. I was talking on the phone to a coach about seating and stuff, and like we're going through it. I'm looking at um, results and rankings and WrestleStat and all kinds of stuff, and um, I don't know. It just got me excited to discuss it, and I'll put a forward out here that I don't have anything like I don't have anything carved in stone. I don't know. I'm not even close to saying, well, this guy's going to be this and this guy's going to be that. What I thought we would do here, and it's such a turnaround, it's such a short turnaround that, I never like crunch numbers on this stuff. Um, I don't plug in formulas. I I look at it, I like speculate about it, and it's really super fun. But I don't. I just wait until they come out. We got about what 36 hours till they come out. And
Well,
so
at larges should come out this afternoon. I just sent out a text, and it sounds like there's not an official time. The bracket reveal show will be tomorrow night. I think they're finalizing that right now as well. So at larges should be early this afternoon. Bracket reveal show Wednesday night. Bash in the brain. Last year, what we did actually that was fun is on Thursday we did a bracket reaction and kind of made our picks, and then we did a follow-up show on Monday, full bracketology. That's when we did the crystal ball with the full brackets filled out. So maybe we'll do
yeah,
something similar like that again. But at larges today, brackets tomorrow, preview show
yeah.
Thursday.
So I mean, really, what I thought was as I'm going through these and I'm saying, will Ladarian Lockett be the 3 or will he be the 4? And I'm looking and I'm scouring, and I thought, why don't we just do a show? And as I'm sort of going through the numbers, we'll all go through the numbers together, and we'll all be friends, and we'll just talk wrestling, right?
Let's be
I don't
friends.
have all the answers, but and despite what some people say, neither do they. So it's sort of pointless. Uh, but let's just discuss them. Let's just discuss them. As far as who gets in and who gets the wild cards, Seton Hall Pirate did a projection. I put up a list of all the guys that need, and if you look at that on Matt Scouts, you get a pretty good idea of who will get them and who won't. Now, I have my list of guys per weight that need, and I have who I think. I didn't put it in there, but in my mind, I have guys I think will get. Now, Seton Hall Pirate put up his projections, and they're very much the same as what I think, but there is some. He does have some curveballs in there that I wouldn't have thought would
By
be
the
the
way,
case.
and just Willie's old school, and so he always says Seton Hall Pirate. And what I've noticed is I get sometimes DMs from people like, how do I follow so and so? I need to do a better job when we reference people regularly, and like when the captain's on and fellers, I need to start putting their handles more. If you're looking for Seton Hall Pirate on Twitter, he's Wrestling by Pirate. Willie refers to him as Seton Hall Pirate, but he's Wrestling by PIR8 on Twitter. So, because I had somebody actually say Seton Hall
Well, here,
Pirate,
check.
they're like, hey, how do I find this Seton Hall Pirate? I'm like, oh, he's Wrestling by Pirate.
I'll put the link to his in the chat, and the he does run the numbers, and he has some weird ones in there, because, and this is very important. This is very and plainly stated. I don't know. He has some guys in there that did not allocate They didn't earn an allocation. Before the conference, they did not earn the allocation. And then, obviously, because they're in there, at the conference tournament, they didn't qualify the threshold anyway. So, to me, I always look at it like the guys that earned an allocation have a much better shot. Because when you say that they didn't earn an allocation and they didn't earn the spot at conferences, what you're essentially saying is they had a not good regular season and they had a not good conference tournament. That's very plain. So if you didn't allocate and you didn't qualify, you didn't have a good regular season, and you didn't have a good conference tournament, why are you allocate? Why are you getting an at large? That being said, he very well could be right about some of these and probably will be right. I just don't particularly understand it.
And he's going off basically math.
Formulas.
Yeah, he's going off formulas and math, and he uses WrestleStats data, their RPI, and pre-conference coaches rankings. And Willie goes kind of more gut, this is what it should be. Pirate kind of does the opposite and goes, forget what I think, this is just basically what my math is mathing. But either way, I think between the both of you, you guys are usually pretty spot on. There's usually a couple of like wonky, weird ones you didn't see, but for the most part, this is usually a pretty good indicator of who's going to get an at large.
Yeah. So, but there's an Iranian world champion wrestler on Fox News right now talking about what's going on in Iran. Anyway, let's start real quick with the needs at and the potential at larges at 125. 125 and 133 each have 5. The rest of them have 4, other than 165, who also has 5. So 125, they get 5. The top ranked guys going into last weekend that still need are Nikolai Rivera, Brady Rourke, Trevor Anderson, Desmond Pleasant. They were all top 25 guys. Only Trevor Anderson out of that group did not allocate. Let's see what Pirate has. Pirate has Rivera, Rourke, Suleiman Ba from Colombia, Kevion Roller of Virginia, and Mac Mauger from Missouri getting the allocations. Now, Rivera allocated. Rourke allocated. Ba did not. Roller did. Ba didn't. Mauger didn't. So, right there we're seeing Ba and Mauger both didn't allocate, both didn't qualify through their
Can I make a side note about Nikolai Rivera?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of public poo-poo over the past couple of years about Wisconsin. And with Rivera getting an at-large, they will send 8 to NCAAs. And they've got guys wrestling very good, and they're kind of staying under the radar. I just feel like they're worthy of a shout-out for what they're doing over there. Like a lot of public poo-poo, and they don't kind of get the praise when guys are performing good. And, Zargo, as an example, having a really good year. Zanfuget having a really good year. Like Wisconsin, when I saw Rivera and I was looking at
Wyatt Ingham as a freshman, Braxton Amos first year up at heavyweight. Bono takes a lot of heat, a lot of it undeserved. He rubs people the wrong way, and so there's a whole collective of people that just don't like him. I don't know. I mean, he's awesome to me. I love the guy. But yeah, I'm glad you shouted him out because they are performing much better than people are talking about.
Yeah, and sending 8 to NCAAs, I think I
through
saw
the Big Ten.
Yeah, and so that's awesome. Shout out Wisconsin.
So that's 125. 133, I think you're going to get a lot of Big Ten guys. Braxton Brown and Dylan Shawver should probably get in. Shawver's as bad as Shawver's year has been. It's been bad, respective to what he is and what he was. I mean,
Hey, sorry, one quick question at 25 that I'm just now thinking about it. Do you think that typically being an alternate isn't that exciting, but at 125 it's worth keeping an eye on if Trevor Anderson gets an at-large, depending on, I'm assuming he's going to be okay, but his injury looked pretty nasty. Worth kind of keeping an eye on there if Trevor Anderson gets an at-large, and then who the alternate is, depending on,
sure.
I'm assuming if Trevor Anderson has the ability to stand and walk, he'll go. This is kind of the biggest tournament of the year that people just wrestle through whatever they're dealing with. But it was worth noting that he had what looked like a pretty significant injury.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know. It's
Costco's in the
bad to
chat.
say. It's bad to say. But I don't. I wouldn't understand if he qualified. I wouldn't understand if he got an at large. Like I don't understand it.
Yeah. Costco's in the chat. One of my favorite things about this time of year is watching people lobby for their guys to get an at-large. Costco's in the chat about to start lobbying for Shaver. He says Shaver also beat Brown twice. Shaver beat Brown twice this weekend.
What I was saying, but Brown's not in either. So what I'm saying is Shaver's season compared to what his expectations are was not thrilling. However, in comparison to the rest of the field that needs an at-large, his case is super strong. I mean, he's a top 25 guy.
We got a few questions in the chat, Willie, too.
Who missed the... Oh, and another thing that goes into at-larges is how far you missed the cutoff from. Like, if the Big Ten brings 9 and you took 10th, you have a better shot than it behooves you to be close and not, hey, the EIWA brings 3 and I took 6th, right? That's really making it tough to get you one. All right, let me get through 33 and then I'll talk stuff in the chat. 33, Dom Serrano would really likely get one. He was number 11, had a bad Big 12s. Braxton Brown and Shaver, I still think are both probably should be in. Now, Evan Talmadge from Pitt, pretty solid ranking at 25. Missed ACC. ACC's took 3. He took 4th. So I think he's really close. And then somebody in the chat asked about Ethan Oakley, and I don't see how Oakley gets in because he didn't allocate and he finished behind Talmadge. So there's no way that Oakley's getting in if Talmadge doesn't get in.
And Talmadge, Pirate has as an alternate. He doesn't even have him getting in.
Right. So I don't. For Oakley to get in, Talmadge would have to get in. So there's 2 of 5, and I don't know if that's going to even be the case. I think Marcel Lopez will get in. He allocated. He was ranked 29th. He has a high win percentage. Let's see what Pirate put at 33. Serrano, Lopez, Brown, Shaver, Willishell. Willishell's kind of on the bubble for me. Alternates, Trace Ekman of Bellarmine, which I'm going to be honest with, that came out of blue to sky. I don't know what his case is. Trace Ekman, why? How? I don't know. And then Evan Talmadge as also an alternate. So yeah, I can get on board with. I like his Pirates projections at 33 make a lot of sense to me. All right, let's check some of the questions. What are they asking? Willie stays watching Fox News. Yeah, I watch it all day long. It's just on mute. That's all I watch. Ivy Finals was almost a duel between Columbia and Cornell. It was, but Penn was only a point and a half back of that. Bono's my goat by next Costco. Shaver will get in. Shaver a lock, to be honest. Noah Tolentino. I'd like to see Noah Tolentino get in, but it's dicey. Julio says if Trevor Anderson can get the NCAs and wrestle Willie, you can get there too. Yeah. Okay.
Larry
So
Steele says if I beat Bash, he has to give me his prime rib trigger recipe. Larry, I'll give it to you regardless. Just DM me on any platform. Gladly give you
how about
my,
this?
my prime rib
How about
recipe.
this? Guys, just ask. Just ask if you think a guy if there's a guy you're wondering about getting in, ask in the chat because I'll pick up the pace here on the at larges. 141 has four and a ton of needs. Braden Basil from Army finished one slot out. Pearson Manville finished one slot out. Both of them allocated, so they have really strong chances. Dylan Ragusin, a lot of people asking him, but he had an abbreviated season, and I don't know what his number. I don't think his number is going to look so great.
Pirate doesn't have him in.
Pirate doesn't have an, and that was my knee jerk reaction when I learned that Ragusin's going to need a wild card. I'm like, that's going to be tough based on his numbers. Grayson Clark, Henry Porter, Jesse Vasquez. Matt Martino is a really interesting case. He didn't qualify through EIWAs, and he didn't allocate, but he does have a win over Composto. That's a big, big deal. Billy DeCraker from Northwestern, Lorenzo Freza from FNM. 149. Max Peterson allocated and finished one spot out. Big 12s at 49 only brought 5. He took 6th. And he was ranked all the way up at 13. He's going to get one. Eli Rivera was 15. He had a bad loss. I forget who it was to, but he lost in the third place match at EIW at Ivies. So that hurts, but still, he has really good wins on the year. His CKLV was awesome. He allocated. He's 15th in the country. I think he has a really good chance. Chance Lamer, number 18, finished one spot out. Doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of great wins, but other than the loss to MSU, he doesn't have a whole lot of bad losses. I think he probably gets in. I don't know if I like Josh Edmonds' chances. He's another one that had very limited match count. Caden Cassidy in the max, I think he might have forfeited all the way out. He was number 22 coming in and did allocate. Nolan Tolentino allocated, but did not. He took third at Pac-12, I think third. Drew Roberts might be out. 49 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ranked guys that need.
That's wild.
8 ranked guys that need. So 49 is really tough. And I think Peterson gets in for sure. I think Lamer gets in. I think Rivera gets in. And then there's only one spot for like Edmund, Cassidy, Tolentino, Dinkins, Roberts. Well, let's see who Pirate has. Pirate has Peterson, Lamer, Rivera, Cassidy. He has Cassidy in over Edmund. That's interesting.
Hook 'em in the chat. Willie and Justin, what % chance do you give Sergio Vega to beat Mendez in the 141 final?
Oh my God, that's so far down the line. That's like the last question that needs to be answered on this show.
We'll probably do that on Thursday when we do the preview show.
Yeah. 157. How about the guys that need to get in at 157? Number 7, Vinny Zerbin needs one. Number 16, Teague Travis needs one, and Pirate does not have him getting it.
It's crazy. These were Flo's rankings, but Kozak put out a highest ranked at every weight who needs a wild card for NCAAs. 17. I'll rattle through the 10. These are the ranked guys, the highest at each weight. 17, 11, 15, 17, 7, 5, 13, 10, 12, 7. Four top 10 guys. It's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people asking about Iowa fans asking about Victor Voinovich. I think he's buried in the depth chart here, especially with Zerbin needing one. So there's only 4. So right away, Zerbin's getting one. So now you're down to 3. It's going to be really tough for Voinovich, who didn't allocate, doesn't have robust numbers, doesn't have a whole lot of quality wins. I don't think he's going to get one. Let's check on Pirate. Pirate Pirate does not have Voinovich in either. He has Zurbin, Mason Schrader. Mason Schrader went into Max as the highest ranked. I think he was a 1 seed and took fourth.
The chat is asking about Teague Travis. I do not believe Teague Travis is in, and I do not believe Teague Travis is going to get one either.
Right, he's not in. He didn't allocate. His numbers weren't good enough to allocate, and he didn't qualify the conference tournament. I think he's squarely on the bubble, but I don't think he gets in, and Pirate doesn't either. All right, 65. 65 takes 5. Matty Bianchi, Tyler Lillard are almost assuredly in. Matty Bianchi's ranked 5th in the country. He did not qualify merely because of one result. Matty Bianchi's in. Next topic, forget about it. Tyler Lillard, 16, he was ranked 16th in the country coming into the conference tournament. He did allocate. I think he certainly gets in. He finished only one spot out of qualifying. Marcus Espinosa Owens, Peyton Keller. There is a litany of guys here. So I'll go Bianchi, I'll go Lillard, and then there's 3 left for a lot of dudes. So I don't know. There's a lot of dudes that need, but at least
that's
there's 5.
like even at 57, Costco was just asking about Anthony White, but after that tough Big Ten tournament, he's probably on the outside looking in as well at 57. It's crazy.
174. They take 4. Jared Sima was 13 in the country. Brody Conley, so a couple Big 12 guys, 13 and 16. Sima and Conley. Josiah Queen. Let's just check what Pirate has. Pirate has Sima, Luca Augustine, Ethan Riddle, Brody Conley all getting in. Again, at 184, it's Big 12s. And did you notice, not for nothing, a lot of times in the past, what everybody's talking about now is edge stalling, reaction time, this and that, and we're all raging about that. One thing that we're not talking about that we're usually talking about at this time is the amount of conference forfeits, defaults. And there wasn't that much this year, and it certainly seemed like there was a whole lot less at Big Tens than in recent. Now there was some, but Big 12 seemed to me like it was sort of a play. Like Big 12's had a lot of defaults.
I feel like Big Ten tournament is only going to have forfeits. All Big Ten tournament is looked at, especially on the backside, as did I qualify or did I not? Like looking at like 157, both the 5th and 7th place matches were medical forfeit wins. I feel like because the Big Ten qualification is so deep, sending 8, 9 at most weights, like you're not going to have people forfeiting out until, call it after the Conci semis, really, with exception, Angelo Ferrari and some others that like are coming back from injury. But I feel like because the qualification is so deep.
Silas Allred.
Yeah, Allred.
But that was that was the singular one, right? I think in 2023, was it 2023 or 2022? The one year we had a ton of front side defaults. This year, I think we only had one. I think we only had Silas. And even Angelo on the backside, he did wrestle one match. He did wrestle and win one match. So,
well, here, if you look at it, so you had at 285, you only had Amos medical forfeit. The rest on the backside were there. 25, not a single medical forfeit. 33, not a single medical forfeit. So, it's not just appearance. 41, not a single medical forfeit. There might be one I'm missing, but I'm just looking like towards the end. I see.
They were way down.
Yeah, sporadically, but overall, a lot of wrestling. Love to see it. And again, I think especially for the Big Tens, the fact that you.
So the reason I bring that up is because 74 and 84 at Big Tens, our Big 12s. I don't know. 74 and 84 at Big 12s. There's a lot of guys from the Big 12s that need Sima, Conley, um, Soldano, Fox. A lot of guys. Let's
Pirate doesn't
see
have
who.
Saldano or Fox in.
I don't. Soldano's numbers are weird. Fox's numbers are weird. Remember, Fox only started wrestling as a starter the second half of the year, and so he didn't have a whole lot of match count. He did have some good wins, namely Zack Ryder, but he didn't have a good Big 12s. Yeah, I don't know. Wait, he doesn't. Oh, he has Fox in. He doesn't have Soldano in.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at 74. Yeah. No, he's got both Fox and Soldano in.
You know who I really like? This doesn't have anything to do with if he gets in or not, but Sammy Goen, I think, is a freshman, redshirt freshman for Indiana. He wrestles tough. Like, did you watch the
Yep. I know exactly
you
where
watch
you're
the
going with this.
Angelo match?
Yep.
He wasn't taking any. He wasn't
The
just
score
out
is
there to.
the score is deceptive,
Yeah.
9-3, but
He wrestled tough. He's one of those guys. Sammy Goen's one of those guys that I don't know. I've always really liked him. He was like a state champ at like 106 and 113, and then all of a sudden the next year he was at like 152, and I'm like, what? And now he's all the way up at 184 and having a really good freshman year at 184.
yeah. I
There's
was
a
looking
couple-
at
yeah,
74. When I said Fox and Soldano, he does have them both in. I was just looking at 74.
Oh, he has
bad there.
Soldano in too.
He has Fox and Soldano in. Yeah.
Interesting. He also has Sammy Gautreau in, which is odd to me because he didn't qualify and he didn't allocate, which is crazy to me. But yeah, 197. Evan Bates, just a really wonky national tournament. He's ranked 13th, or a conference tournament. He's ranked 13th coming in. Obviously allocated. I think he gets one. I think Zorowski gets one. Rune Lawrence, JT Davis, Wolfgang Frabel, Gavin Nelson, Hayden Walters, Zion Hall of Navy. Let's see what the Pirate has. Pirate has Rune Lawrence, Zorowski, Bates, and Nelson. He has Cale Benny on the bubble and Wolfgang Frabel on the bubble. Heavyweight, another.
Wolfgang is such a cool name.
It is. And what's his brother's name?
It's such
His
a
brother
cool
has
name.
brother has like a Viking name too. Like it's like I don't know, Magnus or something like that.
Is it?
Yeah. Heavyweight, we have another kind of guarantee. Christian Carroll was ranked 11th coming in. He'll get one. Connor Barquette, ACC, Duke. I think he'll get one. And then I'm not sure. Then it's a kind of a crapshoot. Josh Terrell, Jack Forbes, Adam Aronson, I don't think he will. There was a couple instances where guys beat Bryson Buck of SIUE made the finals. So the top two qualify, right? They had two bids. He makes the finals. He loses the finals. So now he has to wrestle a true second, and he loses there too. And I don't think he's going to get one. Manny Ulrich from American, Michael
Pirates
Gasper,
got
Little
him
Rock.
in.
Does he?
He's got Bryson.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Pirate has Barquette, Carroll, Ulrich, and Buck as getting in, and Forbes and Gasper as alternates. All right, that's the conversation. And again, you can get a good picture of it either at Wrestling by Pirate, which I put the link in the chat, or on my thing where the Master Needs list.
Yeah, I'll put that in the chat too. That's like for those people asking like who's in and there's the link for that.
Okay, so now let's get into some just rando. I got nothing here, guys. I got nothing like outlined. Like, here's what the seeds are going to be at any weight. I'm just waiting on them patiently and not like racking my brain. Fellers making an appearance from his tree stand. Let's go 125 real quick. not real quick, but I think it's certainly going to be Luke as the 1 seed. Then what do you do? Then what do you do? Is Buzakis still the 2? I guess seating at 125 is not really that compelling. I mean, there's some spots in here, uh, 33, 41, 65. That's really interesting. But
Yeah.
125 is not that compelling, right? Luke's the one. I don't know. Does it matter? These guys are all one takedown matches. I mean,
Yeah, 125 is definitely one of the less intriguing. I do think, as I said on the last show, I do think that being an undefeated conference champ, if history repeats itself, I do think that's going to give a lot of weight. It's just you don't know 100% where it's going to land, whether it's 2 or 3 or 4.
yeah. So Sheldon Seymour is going to be way up there. Undefeated conference champ. He has 19 matches, so he checks all the boxes. Um, yeah, he's going to be super high. He's going to be super high. He's the only, along with Luke, is the only undefeated in there. Um, but if you have any questions at 25, where's this guy going to be seated? Put it in there. Otherwise, I really don't care. I don't really care. I don't really care to do a super drill down into if Spratley's going to be the 4 or the 6, or the 3 or the 4. I think Buzak is still with that loss. I think he probably gets seated ahead. I think it's probably Luke, Seymour, and then Buzakis, and then Spratley the 4 with Ventresca. That's what I would imagine. Now, 133, everybody wants to know about this. Give me Nico Provo. Nico Provo where? Nico Provo to win, or you're talking about seeds?
He just said, "Give me Nico Provo." Is that your
Give me
pick?
Nico Provo. Uh, will Volk crack the top 10 in seeds? Yes. Yeah, he will.
Yeah, definitely he will.
I mean, he does have some wonky losses, but conference finalist, win over Buzakis now. Um, give you Provo seed. Okay. Provo seed. He was runner up last week. Uh, I think, and he beat V Rob twice, right?
Volk.
Beat V Rob. No,
I was
Provo.
gonna
We're
say
talking about
Provo
Provo
beat him
seed.
twice. Yeah, he beat him twice within like 60 days.
Yeah, I don't know. I see Provo somewhere around 7 or 8. Um, you know who did a good job for himself in the seeds is Peterson. Peterson's wrestleback. What did he do? He beat. Oh, I guess no, he didn't. Just no. Oh, I was thinking Drake. Drake did a great job for his seed coming back, but Peterson only beat Lauritsen and Sotelo, so nothing there. Um, all right, 33. 33. This is what everybody wants to know: who's going where, and the curveball here. The curveball here really is the numbers, and if Jax would have had, I think if Jax would have had 15 matches,
He's the
it's
number
probably
one.
next
No,
topic,
yeah, next
right?
topic. If he has an RPI and he has 15 matches, I think he's the number one next topic because he doesn't. He's dominating 85% bonus. He has a win over Seidel. He has a win over Drake. He has a win over Larkin. Like he's got some good wins in there, even though his resume is short. But that man,
Yeah.
13-0 number is tough.
What we all want to know, I mean, what we all hope is that Davino and Marcus are opposite sides.
Correct.
That's what everyone. everybody wants, right? Because those guys already hit twice. Um, so hopefully it'll be something like. But if that occurs, it's probably going to put Marcus and Jax on the same side. Because I ain't saying for sure, but I think the numbers are going to benefit Ben. That not having an RPI looms large.
Yeah. But the hanging question or the lingering question is, will being an undefeated conference champ make up for that?
Yeah.
That's the question kind of to be answered.
Well, the undefeated part doesn't matter a whole heck of a lot. There's not a category that says undefeated conference.
No, but by undefeated, I mean not having a loss. That's
right. Yeah.
But where do you think? So Fellers has a good question in the chat. Where do you think Jax will end up in the coaches ranking?
1.
So that helps him.
Yep.
He's got to be the one, in my opinion.
Yep, I think he's 1.
Where would you put Seidel? With your only
4.
loss being to the 1.
4.
You go Big Ten champ, so you go Jax 1, Divino 2, Blaze 3, Seidel 4.
I mean, that's for rankings, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's for rankings. That's how I would do it.
How far do you think? I had somebody comment on our video yesterday, I believe it was, that asked how far will Lucas fall now after a 5th place finish at Big Tens in both the seeds and the rankings.
Well, here's the thing. He takes a big hit in conference placement, right? Because you got all these guys. Jax Forrest, 1. Ben Divino, 1. Marcus Blaze, 2. Aaron Seidel, 1. Drake Ayala, 3. Kyler Larkin, 2. So he takes a big hit. He's way behind all those guys. That being said, he still only has 2 losses.
Yeah.
And so I still think he's a top. I think he's 6, 7, 8.
What were the first 2 you think he is?
6, 7.
Yeah, I mean the Blake Borman.
I'll tell you what could throw some people for a loop here. And when you're analyzing some of this stuff and you're like looking for like TK Davis. TK Davis is 24-1 on the year, conference champ with 1 loss. He very well could be seated ahead of Azan Fugit, and people like that'll blow people's minds. I mean, even I don't think this will happen, but if the numbers would spit out something that had TK Davis seated ahead of Drake Ayala, and I'm only saying that because Drake has 8 losses. 8! And TK Davis has 1.
And he has the points for conference champion.
I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm saying prepare yourself to be a little ticked off.
Prepare yourself to be in a tizzy. That's all. Mm-hmm. That's all we're saying. And by the way, his 1 loss was all the way back at the Black Knight invite. Kind of crazy.
To who? Vandy?
No.
No, they went to Navy.
I think it was. I'm trying to blank on his name. My computer's freezing. Army kid, Ethan.
Ethan Berging.
Yeah, he lost to him. Black Knight invite.
All right, 141. Pretty easy. It's going to be Mendez and Vega. Then the question at 41 becomes a little bit of a question like Jax Forrest, in that what are they going to do with Stanage? What's the computer going to spit out for Stanage? Undefeated conference champ, but he only has 13 bouts, and he doesn't have he has hardly no good wins.
Is it crazy to you? I put out a graphic this morning, speaking of 141. I put out a graphic that there is 50% more undefeated guys this year heading into NCAAs than last year. Last year, I think, had 9 or 10. This year, 15 guys are heading into NCAA's undefeated, with 3 of them being at 141, with Mendez, Vega, and Stanic all undefeated, combined 54-0 heading into NCAA's. Kind of crazy to have 3 guys at the same weight, all undefeated heading in NCAA's. Obviously, kind of Stanic's shortened season definitely plays a role. He missed some key dates earlier in the year. Otherwise, Lehigh's full schedule is pretty tough. He would have definitely seen.
Yeah, there could be some weird stuff here, and by that I mean, if not having an RPI is going to ding Stanic, but he beat Cornella, who is 19-1 and also a conference champ. So he gets buoyed by that a little bit. So my question becomes, can Stanic and maybe even Cornella jump a Hardy and an Echemendia?
Will be interesting. I don't.
The weird thing is for Brock is that he has 5 losses, which seems like a lot when you're comparing it to Stanic, who has 0, Cornella, who has 1. 5 seems like a lot, but keep in mind that 2 of them are to Vega, 2 of them are to Mendez, or was it 3? 3. He's only lost to Brock's only lost to the 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Brock should be ranked 3rd. I think Brock should be seeded 3rd. That's how I would do it, but I don't do it. A formula does it, and I could see Brock anywhere from 3 to 6. Echemendia, here's the weird thing about Brock Hardy's ranking. Is Brock Hardy got penalized when he lost to Vega because he lost to him week 1, and Vega wasn't firmly established.
Yeah.
So he fell behind Echemendia. But if you compare the resumes, this season's resumes of Echemendia and Brock has better wins than Echemendia. I don't know. I'm really splitting hairs here.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting.
149, probably the thinnest weight of in NCAAs this year. Van Ness is surely your 1. Jackson Joy has that 1 loss to Coy Biskins. Colin Guy has a lot of losses, but beat Biskins to win ACCs. Cross Wazlewski has 3 losses, and at least 2, maybe 3 of them are all to Joy. Swiderski is a conference champ. Ethan Stiles has a really weird resume. Second in Big Tens, pretty high ranking, but he does have 5 losses. He has a weird one. Ethan Stiles is going to be really weird to seed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Really weird. There's not really much to talk about at 149, and what I mean by that is it's gonna spit out Van Ness 1, it's gonna spit out Jackson Joy 2, and then really anything that spits out from 3 to 9, is anybody bitching about anything? Because everybody has a case, but everybody does not have a case.
Yeah, it's weird because you look at somebody like Casey Swiderski, who's Big 12 conference champ, but started national duels or started the season with 4 straight losses. Has turned it around, though.
And it wasn't like 149. It's crazy because 149 and Big 10 and Big 12s are the 2 premier conferences, and neither were particularly strong at 149. 149 is not great in the Big 10, and at Big 12s, hell, Big 12s only brought 5. They only earned 5 allocations. I mean, I love Caleb Rachi, but Caleb Rachi was the Big 12 runner-up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you look at WrestleStats rankings for the three opponents Swiderski had at Big 12s, it was 24, 36, and 80.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I didn't think go that far, but that's crazy. All right, 157. Here is some intrigue. PJ Duke, I think, is certainly your number one seed. But with Meyer Shapiro losing, how far does he fall? He does have a win over Caleb Larkin, who was the Big 12 champ. Does Meyer fall beyond 3? So I think Duke will be the 1. I think Antrell is going to be the 2. I think Antrell gets the 2 over Shapiro. So I don't know. Give me Shapiro the 3, I guess. Unless, do you think anybody could catch Shapiro otherwise? I don't think so.
When you look at Jude Swisher's year, he's 20-3 on the year. He's a conference champ. He has a win over Shapiro. They split. They went 1-1 in the year. His 2 other losses, one was to Virginia, one was to NC State. Daniel Zepeda, who's out for the year. How do they factor that loss in for the year when a guy like Zepeda gets injured and he's out?
It doesn't count because
it's going to be interesting where they seed Swisher.
I don't know. Wait, here's another twist too at this weight. Caleb Larkin is 22-2 on the year. Okay. His only loss at 157 is to Meyer. So, he's something
he's
in
22-2, but half of those matches are at 49.
Okay, so here's my thing. He only has 1 loss at 157, and he's a conference champ. But he only has 12 matches at 157. I don't know, like his RP. I don't know if he has an RPI.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Those 49 matches don't count. I'm pretty sure they don't count for anything.
They won't count towards an RPI for match count. It has to be at that weight.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's going to hurt him in seeding. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know. I think PJ's the one. I go PJ, Antrell, Meyer, and then I don't know. Cannon Webster really helped himself at the Big Ten tournament.
So if you put Meyer 1, where would you put, or 3, where would you put Jude?
I don't know. I'd probably have Webster ahead of him. I'd probably have.
Now you got to assume Larkin will have a high coaches ranking, right?
Yes. Larkin will have a high coaches ranking. I mean, listen, who we're not even talking about? We're not even talking about Brandon Cannon. Brandon Cannon has just 2 losses. And he has freaking wins over Antrell and who else? He has another real good one.
Let's see. He beat Catrabone. He beat Charlie Millard. He lost to Duke. Beat Millard twice. Major Antrell. Actually, he beat Millard 3 times this year. Wow.
Yeah. It's and some of these guys like Cardenas took an early loss to Robideau, and we kind of forgot about him, but he still only has 3 losses on the year and is the ACC champ. It's going to be a cluster, boy. Those numbers, the numbers spit out from 3 to 9 are going to.
Should we get Valenti to call in? I saw your back and forth on Twitter yesterday.
Well, he's a good dude. He's a good dude, and he knows my heart's in the right place when I rage about the seeds. But so that's why he's always like. I think last year, or the year before, he was like, "All right, Willie, an hour before seeds come out, take it easy on me."
So what he tweeted yesterday after Kevin tweeted sending positive vibes to the NCAA D1 Wrestling Championship Seeding Committee, and Matt Valenti tweeted, "Pea-brained, biased, knowledge-less fools, assemble."
Yeah, at least he has fun with it, you know. So,
Fellers is
man,
in the
50
chat saying, Willie, take your feelings out of it. Which one was Willie's feelings in? I missed that. Felter's facts. He said, Willie, take your feelings out of the seating.
What?
I don't. He's also in the chat saying conference champs important in Matrix. I agree. I think that's why some of these guys that like Stanich and Seymour that are undefeated conference champs, and even like Larkin being a conference champ, I think that's going to have a lot of weight. I think historically they've proven that conference champs get a lot of weight.
It's not. Look at history. They literally tweaked the seeding formula to more reward conference champions in the past, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. And so it's not a mystery. It's literally in the formula. Conference placement, the valuation has changed in the formula the last couple of years. And so you're 100% right, but I don't know what he's talking about, my feelings. Antrell isn't going to be 2. That's what you're saying.
Antrell was his feelings.
Antrell was my feelings?
He does have a win over the conference champ who's going to be 1, so I understand the logic for him being 2.
Yeah. He also has a win over Robideau.
We love the Huskers. No, he does have a loss to Rosinski and Cannon, so he does have those other 2 losses in there. But
listen, if you're asking me my feelings, I wouldn't put Antrell on the opposite side of PJ. So don't come at me with I'm being biased here. I don't want Antrell. I wouldn't if I'm a hardcore Nebraska homer that's like,
you don't need to say the word if.
Well, I'm not. I mean, you guys are crazy. Just because I've never said anything on here. Okay, very, very rarely. You're just so hardcore Penn State homer that you want me to be.
Are you talking? What did I do?
You're always trying to make me. You're always trying to make me this uber Nebraska biased homer, which I'm not.
Fellers was saying emotions. I didn't. Don't shoot the messenger.
At least not in my takes.
Don't make me do the 50 Cent meme.
If it was up to me, I would put Antrell. Shit, if it was up to me, I'd put Antrell to 9, to 8. Because I'd want him to hit PJ off the scale. And if you're telling, you saw what happened when PJ's 8 hours off after weigh-ins. It's not the same match. PJ's gonna do his thing.
We love Husker Willie.
If Trell has a shot, so it ain't my thing. Well, here's the bottom line. 157 is a conundrum. 157 is a conundrum. But it is a conundrum that we can almost accept any order. I don't think I'd rage if any order comes out.
The one thing I wish we did get when we got seeds is like the explanation. If we got if we got the points, if we,
it is absolutely atrocious and stupid. And if there's anything I could say to Valenti, like I don't think that Valenti is bad at what he does. I don't think that committee is bad at what they do.
We just want to understand why they do what they do.
Right. When seeds come out every year and I rage and I say, by the way, the last 2 years I haven't even raged because I didn't think they were that bad. But when I complain about seeds, I guess the formula is the formula. Here's what I want to know, though. Let us know what the results were. How can you go on and not every year? You don't know what the results are. Who is it hurting? What are you hiding? The fact that they don't put it out gives you more ammo to say what are you hiding?
Yeah. All right, 165.
165 easy peasy at the top two. It's going to be Mesenbrink and Caliendo. Then you really got to get into 3, 4, 5. 3, 4. Is it going to be Lockett Blaze or Blaze Lockett? Now, Blaze has a win over number 2, but so does Ladarian. But Ladarian has 2 losses to Blaze's 1. I would probably have Blaze higher. I would have Mesenbrink, Caliendo, Blaze, Lockett.
That loss Bianchi took to Anthony Berg is really going to knock him down, I think.
Bigly.
Bigly.
And the problem with Nico Ruiz is, and I think like if you're a Pac-12 or Pac-12, if you're a West Coast fan, Cali fan, ASU fan, you're like, oh great, Nico's way up there now. Hold on, because Nico gets major credit for a win over Ladarian Lockett. He gets major credit for a conference champ, but bruh, look at his losses. He lost to Dylan Gilcher. He lost to Max Brignola. He lost to Ryder Downey, who ended up taking like 6 in his conference. He lost to Caesar Alvin. That is a mess. Nico Ruiz's seed is going to be. I have no idea what's going to. But in his benefit though, is who in his grouping does he have to fight against? And that's Matt Bianchi, who just lost to a 10-9 Anthony Berg. It's LJ Araju, who was, I don't know, 4th or 5th at Big Tens. Max Brignola, who LJ beat. Ryder Downey, who had a bad Big 12s. So his losses are bad, but he's also clearly above some guys, I guess. I don't know. Craziness starts. So this is very clear cut. It's Mesenbrink, Caliendo, and then either Lockett or Blaze. I would go Blaze. And then Lockett. And then craziness starts at 5. Ruiz, Bianchi, LJ.
So
Brignola.
We could have, if seeds hold, you're saying a potential Big 12 Finals rematch in the quarters.
Yeah, you could.
If you see Lockett Ruiz rematch in the quarters, and then what a tough tournament for Lockett. He'd have a Big 12 Finals rematch in the quarters, Mesenbrink in the semis, and then if he were to win that, you figure Blaze or Caliendo winner in the finals potentially.
First of all, fellas saying losses don't matter. Yeah, they don't to an extent, but certainly winning percentage does. It hurts you when you have 5 losses compared to a bunch of guys with 1. It hurts your winning percentage.
Losses don't matter. He's screaming it now in the chat.
Yeah, I love when people say that. They don't technically, but they do. So fall out of your tree stand, bud. All right, 174. 174. It's top 2 again are going to be pretty much carved in stone. Levi and Simon Ruiz. And then who knows? I think probably Minto. Probably something. A bunch of Big Ten guys. I think it's probably going to be Minto, Carsley, Kennedy, and I think next would probably be like Matty Singleton. Only 3 losses on the year, conference champ. I think he'll be pretty up there around the.
We just had the comment of the show. You got fellers screaming, losses don't matter. Then you got Richard following that up with, I wish it were true. My Cleveland Browns would then be awesome. Oh man, can't imagine being a
Yeah,
Browns fan.
yeah. You can say losses don't matter all you want, but they do. Um, yeah, 174 is pretty cut and dry through the top. I think six. Levi, Simon, Minto, Karchla, who just beat Kennedy, and then I think Facundo or maybe Steed. No, who did I say? Facundo? I meant Singleton. Singleton and then maybe Steed. So 74 is pretty easy. 84. Welsh is going to get the one. Aiden's going to get the two. What the hell they do with Angelo Ferrari is a giant, giant question. I think, yeah. I think Max is probably locked in at the three. So you're going to go Welsh, then Killaire, Mickinelli. And then who knows?
Yeah.
Angelo still doesn't have 15 matches.
Now, do either of the, refresh my memory, do either of the forfeits at Big Tens actually count against him to Chris Moore and Dylan Fishback? Does the first one? Doesn't one of them count against him?
The Chris Moore one does, I think.
Okay.
Let's see the same thing with Silas. How it's in here. No. See, I was told this morning, and I don't understand it. I was told that neither forfeit for
All red?
Allred gets penalizes him. So it's something like if you wrestle two matches, then it's okay. So Silas made the semis, forfeited to Mickinelli. That counts as a loss. But his
It counts
next
as an
two do
injury
not.
default, which is why he took the mat and then took the loss in the second, right? And then the next two don't count.
Yeah.
Because that first one was a 1 second loss to Max. McAnally for the Minnesota fans crying about
But
that.
then why does Angelo's loss? Why does Angelo get penalized for it?
I'm guessing because Angelo didn't take an injury default, he took a medical forfeit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I guess. I don't know. So
They'll end up putting Angelo and him and Rock will be a quarterfinal.
so you think Angelo still goes 4-5?
No.
Oh, you think he goes like 8-9?
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be outside the top 10. Just I don't see that happening. I don't think with... By the way, he also has a win over Sinclair from earlier in the year that, you want to talk losses don't matter. Okay, he's got some good wins throughout the year.
You know what was a low-key monkey wrench? Into the seeding at 184? James Conway taking a loss
Yeah.
this weekend at conferences to Caleb Campos. I think that's who it was. Because if Conway goes in as a one-loss conference champ, he would have been way up there.
James Conway has wrestled 34 matches this season.
I know, I love it.
Yeah, I definitely think Angelo's top 10. I do.
Oh yeah, top 10 for sure.
So that's why I put him in that 8-9, I think. No RPI, 8th place at Big Tens. I think those are going to hurt him.
I can see Angelo anywhere. Not top 3, but you put Angelo anywhere else.
Yeah, Corby agrees with me in the chat. 8-9.
But again, yeah, he doesn't have 14 bouts. All right, 97. Everybody's gonna go. It's gonna be Bar Elam, probably Novak. Right? Um,
Yeah, you would think. I mean, Sonny Sasso. I know the losses don't matter. Crowd is in the chat, but Sonny Sasso has. Well, no, he's got some wonky losses.
yes, Stephen Little does too, though. Stephen Little, good win over Rademacher. Only has 2 losses, but one of those losses was like Devin Wasley or somebody. It was like 2 weeks ago.
Christian B in the
Mike,
chat is Angelo AA. Yes,
Mikey Squires.
yes, that's not a question. I think Angelo AA's.
Um, yeah, 197. Bar Elam Novak, to me, easy 1, 2, 3. And then who knows? Sasso, Stephen Little.
If you go conference champion, um, give that some weight. He's got a win over Cody Merrill, over Max Stout, Angelo Posada. He's got some strong wins there.
Yeah.
Just also,
Yep.
he also beat Novak earlier in the year. He majored him 12-2. So he's got some good wins. He just
Who did?
Sonny Sasso.
Majored Novak?
Yep. At National Duels, 12-2.
Damn, dog. Oh, yeah, that's crazy because he was coming off a loss to freaking Rune Lawrence and Gavin Nelson. He was all over the place early in the year. So he might be the 3. He really might be the 3.
Could put Sasso the 3, Novak the 4.
That could happen for sure. That could happen for sure. 285. Younger's going to be the 1. Trumbull's going to be the 2. Tay is going to be the 3. I think Ferrari and Feldman are going to be the 4, 5. Because Nathan Taylor had a pretty easy road, and he stumbled in a couple places. He lost to Zuba. He lost to somebody else. So he's going to be way down there. Bless you.
Thank you.
What do you think your boy Cole's going to be?
It's a tough one to guess. I
Cole.
don't know.
Cole lost to Keeter. So
He lost to Keeter. He lost to Tate twice. He lost to Christian Carroll. He lost to Nathan Taylor.
Bro, David Zuba somehow, with 8 losses on the year, is going to be seated top 9. And, bro, you will never find, like, a guy seated this high with these. He lost to a guy named Carter Bluff from Grand Valley State. He lost to Max Venadia. I mean, what?
His weirdest
No, that
loss
was
of the year is
early in
his weirdest loss of the year is Tony Cassiope. That's not a typo.
Yeah. So, Estita, Trumbull, Tay, probably another showdown.
285
I
is
mean,
going to be so fun. I can't wait to preview that. Wait, once we get a bracket.
AJ blowing that match against Tay really
Yep.
really hurt him bad, because now he's gonna have probably Feldman, who it's like always a toss up with, and then Younger.
Yeah.
As opposed to if he was the 3, he'd get like David Zuba and then Trumbull.
Yeah. I'm really
Not that
excited to
Trumbull-
pick. This is one of those weights that I feel like my picks are going to be so contingent upon the bracket. Like a lot of times I kind of just look at the weight and make my picks. This is one of those weights I'm going to have to go through the bracket round by round and make my picks and see who I have winning it based on how the bracket shakes out. I need to go on Amazon right now and order a printer for this house.
All right, that's seeds at a very, very 500 view glance.
Yeah, and so that was a fun hour of speculating. We should get the actual at-larges this afternoon. We should get brackets tomorrow night. We'll do a bracket reaction / picks and preview show Thursday, and then if Willie foregoes any time on Halo, we'll do an updated Crystal Ball bracketology show the week of NCAA's. We have people in the chat now that want us to just go live every day through the end of NCAA's. Might be a personal
Maybe
challenge.
We do. Yeah, dare us.
Dara, say we won't. Say we won't.
we won't.
And by the way, make sure you are subscribed everywhere you are listening, because there are times and days like this we did not have a planned show, and we went live for the people.
Yeah, we do it for the people. We do it for the fellowship and the friendship. And, you know, Bash and I could have had this discussion just out of pure, like,
By the way,
love
we
for the
do.
game.
We have some of these discussions where we just get on
but
FaceTime.
we did it with you guys because we love you.
By the way, let's take a minute. Bo Bartlett just had a great tweet that he said.
Let's take a minute.
Bo Bartlett said, "Imagine walking to practice today and hearing NCAAs are canceled. Time flies." 6 years ago today, they canceled NCAAs. Let's just take a moment to appreciate that we get NCAAs this year. Because something you would think is guaranteed is not.
I remember Corby was saying at the time, he was like, dude, it's going to be canceled. I'm like, shut up. And he's like, it's going to be canceled. And I'm like, I know, but shut up. Like, we knew it. We felt it in our bones, but I just couldn't swallow it. You know?
Devin Hurst in the chat is fiending for Fellers because he's said let's get Fellers on a couple times. I texted Fellers on the side and said you have the link if you want to hop on at any time. You're more than welcome to. The captain has some important meetings in Vegas, so he's kind of a little bit busy. But Fellers and the captain are both welcome on for NCAA picks and previews. Any show from here
Let's
through.
Let's have a special. If we're going live every day, there's no reason we don't have a special show where Felters and Don are on and they chime in with their picks too.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm also excited in 15 minutes. I'm hopping on as a guest on a neutral podcast, and I'm excited to bring an unbiased point of view to that. So look out for that. I don't want to say what it is because I don't know when they're putting out or what they're doing, but I'm excited to be on a neutral podcast. So go subscribe. Stay tuned. Much more coming. It's the greatest time of the year. I'm going to buy a printer right now. And by going to buy, I mean I'm going to Amazon, and it's going to be here within 4 hours because Amazon rocks. Go Bills.